We have been following every development of the Michigan Biden boycott started by Arab and Muslim leaders, starting with the uncommitted vote in Tuesday's primary, which we will be live as the results of that come in. So we'll get to see the strength of that. Don't expect Biden to lose to uncommitted, folks. I don't want to set your aims too high. A shit lib is a shit lib. A Democrat is a Democrat. But I think it will be significant. I think it will register significantly. And unlike Our Revolution and Rashida Tlaib and Michael Moore, who are doing the half-assed uncommitted, the founders of this uncommitted movement are determined to actually voting uncommitted or blank in the general election. And you'll see that reflected here. This is an MSNBC panel with 4 of these Michigan voters. And watch what they have to say about Joe Biden.
Is there a pathway forward for you with Biden?
Oh, absolutely not. You cannot keep killing people with our money and just keep thinking that, oh, we are stupid enough to elect you again, because we'll fall in line. We'll forget. Like, this is an insult to me as a voter.
For you, Biden has a pathway forward.
Biden has a pathway forward. It's not.
And what does that look like?
That is him calling for a permanent and immediate ceasefire. The straightforward, simple answer for the Biden administration is push for a ceasefire, stop aiding Israel in their war crimes, and I guarantee you there are enough people who would be willing to deal with it and vote for the man.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I should have said I love 3 out of these 4 voters. This would be the exception. What do you mean he needs to secure a ceasefire? I'm sorry. Like, yeah, obviously we want a ceasefire, but in terms of, are you going to vote for him? How has that ship not sailed? 12,000 children are already dead. There's no bringing them back. The idea that you would go back and vote for him if he secures a ceasefire now or a week or in a month from now. Why? How is it not too late already?
Well, you can see this guy has vote blue no matter who tendencies that he's having a hard time giving up.
Yeah, this is the Michael Moore of the group here.
He's the Michael Moore, yes.
Yeah. And I guarantee you there are enough people who would be willing to deal with it and vote for them.
Jacket.
It is,
that's a nice jacket.
In so many words, insane to me to have the Democratic Party and the Biden administration sit here and essentially say, if Trump happens, it's your fault.
If you don't want a Trump presidency, then are you not worried about what he could do domestically to this country?
I am. You know, it's like a vaccine. I'm willing to take short-term pain for a long-term gain. I'm willing to
this guy understands politics. Look at him.
Let go of Joe Biden and oppose Joe Biden, make him a one-term president, punish Joe Biden by making him a one-term president and pairing his loss with the genocide in Gaza.
Boom.
Why is having a Trump presidency more important than those people's lives?
Yeah.
Why is our democracy more important than thousands of men, women, and children being killed?
That's my favorite. Annie Wisner. This guy's good too. But that...
Why is having a Trump presidency more important than those people's lives?
Yep. Yes.
Why is our democracy more important than thousands of men, women, and children being killed?
Boom! Ha! Ha! Woo! That's it. Why is our democracy, quote unquote, which look what they've already done. They've canceled the primaries. They disenfranchised New Hampshire. And then because Biden won, now they're going to count the votes because they got the result they want. I mean, what democracy are you talking about? You're talking about a democracy that has produced 2 psychotic and demented octogenarians. Trump is not technically that yet, but he will be if he wins. I mean, this is the democracy. So even on that score, like, what democracy are we actually saving by keeping Trump out? But on the second point, the much more important point, why is our democracy more important than these 12,000 kids who have been massacred? Why? Why do our lives matter? Because, I took a quick look at a former friend of the show. They wrote a Substack article about how if the left wants to connect with the working class, they have to stop talking about foreign policy because poor and working class people here don't have time to care about that. Well, I'm sorry.
Really?
Poor and working class people here are no more important than poor and working class people anywhere else in the world. And they're certainly no more important than children who are living in tents right now with their families, knowing that any second a bomb could fall out of the sky and that could be it for them. Like, I'm sorry. I'm all for the working class here. But nobody in America is any more important than anyone else anywhere in the world. And what's happening now is an obscenity, a world historic obscenity. And the idea that we're supposed to fear the consequences for our institutions if Trump gets back in, and the idea that whatever harm he does matters more cosmically, spiritually, morally, matters more than the just unspeakable awfulness of what's happening in Gaza right now, that is Western chauvinism and, dare I say it, racism. And so that was just a beautiful response.
Whenever the left has been at its strongest, its most potent, its most ideologically clear, it has been at moments when the left has had an international perspective.
That too, yes. The labor movement was more effective when it had a global perspective than it is now under Sean Fain. Oh, ceasefire, yeah, but oh no, okay, all right, we'll endorse you anyway.
Right. When you look at how the radicals of the 60s and 70s spoke, it was very much with a global vision, with a global lens, particularly black radical leaders. Very much would put their struggle in the context of a broader worldwide movement against oppression, injustice, fascism, and authoritarianism. So I think that's a very foolish perspective to say that the left is more effective if we only keep to navel gazing within our country. I think it's good for the left to put everything in the context of a global struggle, because it is a global struggle. I think this Palestine has really brought up and brought to the surface the first world problems nature of so much of what American liberals and even a lot of people who think of themselves as left prioritize. That came up in another story we covered about abortion rights, where somebody was saying, well, what about the rights of the women who are being slaughtered and the girls who are being slaughtered in Gaza? What, I'm supposed to put my abortion rights before their right to live, their right to be alive? How is that not a feminist issue? So, yeah, I mean, that is coming up with a lot of people who are refusing to vote for Joe Biden, and God bless them, man. Like, a lot of them are articulating that, like, hey, the things you're saying I need to vote for Joe Biden to protect are things that these people who are being genocided don't have and can't even dream of having. So why is that a priority? Of course. We covered the Bassem Youssef Chris Cuomo interview a while back where he said, look, yeah, I'm all for reproductive rights. If you're in a state that doesn't allow it, you have a place to go. And now you should not have to go there, obviously. And there are people for whom a bus ticket out of town is not something that they can pay for. And so that's obviously a horrible situation. But they have options relative to a family in Gaza now crowded into Rafah with no place to go. The only thing they can do is pray that every second is not their last. That's all they can do. And so how is any problem that any of us face more important than those problems that people are facing there? In the face of that, there are very few people in America, frankly, who have problems that are not first world problems by comparison. By comparison. Exactly. Exactly right.
Please clap.